The making of Spider-Man 2 had more problems than Peter Parker himself. Working under pressure-packed deadlines to meet the film's predetermined release date, Spider-Man 2 went through multiple drafts from a small fleet of writers, including a Pulitzer Prize-winning novelist. Casting the film's villain was a difficult search, and its star was dealing with debilitating back issues and was nearly replaced. And yet, despite all of this, by the time it was released on schedule in the summer of 2004, Spider-Man 2 wasn't just a successful continuation of the franchise, it set a new standard for the entire superhero genre. Welcome to Superhero Cinema Club, an in-depth exploration of the history of superhero films. I'm Mark Schiff, and joining me as always, it's the Robbie Robertson to my J. Jonah Jameson. It's Mike Carnes.
Mark, it's not right what you're doing.
You gotta get this front page done.
I forget what else he says, but yeah, something to that effect.
Something to that effect. Really, really great casting, by the way, for Robbie Robertson. Really like that actor, Bill Nunn, in that role. I feel like he looks exactly like Robbie Robertson in the comics. Good stuff.
He's good casting, yeah. He was in the first one too, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, same guy. We are talking tonight about Spider-Man 2. Very excited for this one, Mike. Huge film in the superhero film pantheon. As always, we recommend that you rewatch the film prior to listening to our podcast. It is currently available to stream not only on Disney Plus, but kind of all over right now. The rights of Spider-Man, you can find the Spider-Man streaming kind of all over the place. Quick Google search will tell you where to find it. Definitely recommend it, but if you're part of the Raw Dog crew that just comes in, listens to the pod, we love that too. We love all y'all. Mike, before we get into our categories, I did want to ask, we talked a lot about in our first episode on Spider-Man, Peter Parker's roots as an everyman and how he's one of the most relatable of all the superhero characters. Mm-hmm. So my question for Spider-Man 2 is, does Peter's loss of powers make the character more relatable as an everyman working class hero? Or did you find it frustrating to watch a Spider-Man movie where he spends a large chunk of the runtime without his abilities?
Well, good question. This movie, I feel like, does start to, or continues the trend, rather, of a sequel where the superhero loses their powers. We can go back to Superman 2. He loses his powers in that one a bit. Deadpool 2. He gets the collar that takes away his powers and he gets his cancer back for a while, if you recall. I think there's a good chunk of superhero movies where this happens. And honestly, I was kind of thinking about it watching this and I was like, you know what? I don't really feel like it needs it in this movie. It kind of does slow things down. We can get into it later with the what's it all about and things like that. But to answer your question, it is a little frustrating. The point that they're trying to reinforce of like him balancing not only his life, but the decision of, do I want to make this sacrifice to be a hero? The way that it impacts his life, his non-committal to that resulting in losing powers. I was like, I don't really need this. It could just be the battle of, I'm doing too much in my superhero life and it's affecting my personal life. It doesn't need to compound with the loss of his powers, I felt like, this time around.
Yeah, it's an interesting point you bring up. I think that what this film symbolizes now as an adult watching it is the mind-body connection, ultimately, in that when we suffer from depression and anxiety, it can actually affect our physical well-being. And I think, yeah. So I think in that sense, you can really see where that choice to give up the Spider-Man comes into play. But at the same time, I do see the point because he comes back to Spider-Man pretty quickly and just instantly regains his powers.
Yeah, he definitely does.
Mary Jane's in peril and it just comes right back. It's like, well, why didn't it come back when you were literally in a burning building? There might be a little bit of plot construction there that could have been better. But this movie, as we'll discuss later, is very high on the Peter Parker problems scale. So I think in that respect, they really earn his frustration at having to live the dual life. So I think it's worth it to me in the end, but I can certainly see that complaint. Well, let's kick things off as we always do with our Tale of the Cape. Mike, Spider-Man 2 was released June 30th, 2004. Fun fact, literally the week after the first film opened and became the first movie ever to earn $100 million dollars in its opening weekend, Sony was like, we're doing a second one. They just flat out didn't even wait a week. We're just like, yep, there'll be a Spider-Man 2, kids. So they kind of locked down the date 2 years later.
They had dollar signs in their eyes.
Oh man, it was just, let's do it. Let's sweeten the pot, Sam Raimi, who immediately signed back on, and Tobey Maguire was under contract for 3 films. We're going to give you $200 million for this one. We're going to blow up the budget. And you know what, Mike? You got to make money. What is it? Scared money don't make money.
Yeah.
Sony wasn't scared. They weren't scared at all. It made $795 million worldwide. It became the third highest grossing film of 2004. Trying to think what else came out that year. I believe Shrek 2 was a 2004 release, wasn't it, Mike?
That was number one. $928 million. Almost $1 billion for that stupid cartoon.
Wild. Shrek 2 is the best. I do think Shrek 2 is the best entry in the franchise.
I don't think I still haven't seen it. I've seen the first
Really?
one.
Yeah, Shrek 2 is good. Man, trying to think what else came out in 2004. Was there a Harry Potter movie that year?
There was number 3, Azkaban. That's number 2 on the list with $796 million.
Oh, it was so close. And then Spider-Man 2 was right behind it at number 3.
Yep, right behind it. There's a big one this year that you're not thinking of, I think.
It wasn't a superhero film.
It was not, but I will say it inspired many superhero films.
Oh, The Matrix.
No.
No? Okay, what do you got?
The Passion.
Oh my God.
Passion of the Christ, $612 million is number 5. But in between Spider-Man and Passion was The Incredibles with $631 million. So
There we go.
That's your
Yeah.
top 5.
2004. Okay. So got a couple classics, couple clunkers in there, but big hit, ensuring a third Spider-Man movie, which we will discuss next week. Now, quite shrewdly, Sony brought back, as we mentioned, director Sam Raimi. I think, Mike, we should just break this down and just better or worse a lot of this stuff. So Sam Raimi's back. We talked about him in the last film. Is the directing in Spider-Man 2 better or worse than Spider-Man 1?
I think it's definitely better. I was actually noticing even just not even from the action scenes, little scenes where he's like at the payphone leaving Mary Jane a voicemail and then the phone disconnects, but the camera just kind of does the Michael Bay thing where it keeps circling around him as a stationary character. I was like, they could have just made that really boring and just had camera A and B just pointing at him from 2 different angles. But no, they decided to keep the camera moving, make it interesting, give the scene a little sense of movement in a stagnant character. So things like that. There's a lot of really interesting, I think, camera movement. The action scenes are all pretty incredibly filmed. That's much heavier on the CG this time, I think. So he was trying to figure out a lot of how to use, digital puppets and how to make a lot of these scenes look real. And I think there's a lot of all digital scenes coming out of 2003. Return of the King had a ton of all digital scenes. And so now other movies are trying to show that we can do it too. And we can apply it to our stories. It doesn't just have to be grand scale fantasy epics. Yeah, I think there's a lot of really successful wins from a directing standpoint. And last thing I'll say is that he brings in his horror directing chops here too. With that Doc Ock scene where the arms are killing the doctors, like that's a fantastically directed scene for a horror director. And we didn't really get a sense of that in the first movie from him, and so I'm glad to see that shining through in this one.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think his directing in this film is just more confident. He kind of shot the first one. There's the Sam Raimi styles, the spinning cameras, and a lot of camera movements as you mentioned. But I think in this one, it seems more assured and just able to execute these ambitious shots. You talk about the small details. One of the shots I really enjoyed is when Dr. Octopus, the experiment goes wrong and the glass from the window shatters, and it's the shot of the glass flying towards his wife and her face is reflected in the glass right before it kills her. I mean,
great shot.
It's like a half-second shot, but it just speaks to the level of detail that's going on in this movie. And I feel like everything is just so well thought out and so well planned. I think he did a spectacular job with the directing on this. Now let's talk about the screenplay because it's a pretty interesting story, Mike, behind it. So basically, they greenlit the film. They didn't necessarily want David Koepp to come back. They were looking at actually a couple of guys who had been working on teenage superhero stuff. Alfred Goff and Miles Millar, who were known for Smallville. They thought, hey, the guys from Smallville are writing Teenage Superman. Let's bring them over and see what they can do. They took a pass at the script. They did actually bring back David Koepp, and he did another uncredited pass at the script. Still weren't happy with how it was going, so they brought in another writer, Michael Chabon. Now, Michael Chabon, Mike, is best known probably as a novelist. He also created the Star Trek series Picard, starring superhero cinema legend Patrick Stewart. I actually haven't watched that, not being a big Trekkie, but
Same.
kind of has one foot in Hollywood. It's been about 10 years since he wrote a novel. However, in 2004, he was fresh off of the Pulitzer Prize winning novel, The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay. And this is a book that is sort of a historical fiction around the origins of superhero comics back in the 1930s. Takes some elements from Siegel and Schuster and the Superman creators and creates kind of a fictional narrative around it. It's an amazing novel, and so you can see why Sony was like, hey, let's have this guy do a pass. Mike, his pass at the script was pretty interesting to say the least.
Okay.
I'll give you a quick overview of it. This is per Wikipedia. The draft had a younger Doc Ock who becomes infatuated with Mary Jane. His mechanical limbs use endorphins to counteract the pain of them being attached to his body, which he then enjoys. When he injures two muggers on a date, this horrifies Mary Jane, and the resulting battle with Spider-Man, his tentacles are fused, and the fusion begins to kill him. Essentially, Octavius was also the creator of the genetically modified spider from the first movie that gave Peter his powers. The other notable part of the script that he had included was him basically making an alliance with Harry, which did obviously make it into the film, and Harry and the Daily Bugle putting a $10 million bounty on Spider-Man's head, which then leads to like everyday citizens trying to get after Spider-Man and attack him.
Okay. Shades of the Dark Knight coming through there a little bit with Mr. Reese.
Yeah, for sure. Sony was like, nah, this ain't it, bro. This ain't it. So they go back to the drawing board. They give Sam Raimi the script back, and he hooks up with screenwriter Alvin Sargent. Alvin Sargent, two-time Academy Award-winning screenwriter. He won for the films Julia and Ordinary People. Ordinary People, one of the saddest movies you'll ever see. Just absolutely devastating movie. Not exactly who you think should be in the batter's box for Spider-Man. However, Alan Sargent did, I would say, a fantastic job when he
Sure.
kind of
Yeah.
fused these different elements, these different things. And I think, Mike, this script is even better than the original Spider-Man script, in my opinion, which we both really enjoyed. What are your thoughts on that?
It is better. I was thinking too on rewatch, it's significantly less corny than the first one. I talked a little about that last episode about just how cheesy some of that is. A lot of that is the directing, a lot of that is the acting, but that is all derived from the writing. And this one doesn't really have a lot of cheesiness to it at all. I feel like they kind of cut a lot of that out this time, and it made it more enjoyable to me this time on rewatch, especially over the first one.
Yeah, I think Alvin Sargent did just an incredible job understanding the character and kind of bringing it all together.
I also want to say I really think it's a good idea to always bring in professionals from other genres. We just talked about Sam Raimi being a horror movie director and bringing him in. I think that if you bring in a drama screenwriter to a superhero movie, the movie is going to just escalate to the nth degree because we're not dealing with someone who's like, oh, well, we got to consider the comic backstory and we got to have this and we got to have that. It's like, no, just make it a good movie. Just make it competent from a screenwriting perspective. And something like Alvin Sargent coming in is always a good choice in my book.
The character work in this movie is amazing. I mean, I think they really do a great job of putting Peter Parker in that position of being unbelievably stressed out. The stakes in all aspects of his life are just so much worse his life is not going well, which is another thing that Sam Raimi can really do. My friend and I, Andy, shout out Andy, were talking about this the other day. He does humiliation very well.
Okay.
We've both seen Send Help.
Yes.
Rachel McAdams' character is just absolutely humiliated at the beginning of that movie.
It's
Peter
painful to
Parker is,
watch.
it's painful. Peter Parker is humiliated in this movie. Darkman has some themes around humiliation. A Simple Plan has some themes around humiliation. I think he does a really good job of engendering sympathy for these main characters through humiliation and finding the right ways to just get the audience emotionally invested. And that's certainly the case here. I think, too, the cinematography is even better in this one. And Mike, is very interesting to kind of look at new cinematographer on this film, Bill Pope. Look at this guy's 2000s from 1999 to 2010, Mike. Here's a list of just a handful of the movies that he did. The Matrix in 1999.
Jesus, that's off to a great start.
Literally revolutionary cinematography in that film. He did the two Matrix sequels. 2004. How's this for a doubleheader, Mike? He did Spider-Man 2 and Team America World Police in 2004.
That's it's a just cinematic masterpiece, that movie.
Absolutely. Returns to Spider-Man for Spider-Man 3 and then caps off the decade in 2010 with Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Oh yeah, that's
Bill
great.
Pope.
Yeah, killer.
Props to you, sir. You have done a great job. You will be back as a cinematographer for
In Avengers Doomsday.
No, he's not. No, that's our guy from X-Men.
I know, yeah. Bill Pope will return though. Yeah.
Bill Pope will return for future Marvel projects. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
One really good one too. So we'll just tease that. Yeah, I think the cinematography is even better in this one than the last film. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree. Like I said, there's a lot of good camera just movement in general, and even scenes where it doesn't need it, but it amps it up and just escalates the craft. So yeah, good on him. He's doing a great job.
And you mentioned in the last episode that they invented this new camera crane that would swing down
Yeah,
through the
yeah.
buildings. That was apparently only used on the last shot of the original Spider-Man, but they used it throughout Spider-Man 2. If you missed our last episode, they basically invented a camera rig that took a VistaVision camera, dropped it from a 22nd floor, swung it down just feet above the ground of New York, and that's how they got some of the images of Spider-Man swinging. They did add in occasional buildings digitally, but a lot of those are the actual buildings. They're hit with real sunlight, so they kind of composited a mix of real New York buildings and a little bit of CGI. But what a cool, inventive way to get that motion of Spider-Man swinging. And if this guy did the Matrix, man, he is leading the way in some really innovative cinematography.
For sure. Yeah.
The next thing we want to mention, visual effects. Now, we didn't really talk about the visual effects supervisor in the last film. The visual effects designer for both Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2, John Dykstra, he upped the game. And Mike, the goal for the visual effects crew in this film was to make the best shot of the original Spider-Man the worst shot in Spider-Man 2.
That's quite a goal. Yeah, I like that.
We have got to take it to another level. I think they completely did that. There's a lot of really nerdy technical stuff you can get into if you want to go a deep dive on the visual effects, but the short version is they actually invented new technologies to do motion capture for their Tobey Maguire and Dr. Octopus's faces so that the light, when it hit their face, actually looked normal and not in the uncanny valley. It's been over 20 years since this film came out, and I think there's certain things you look back on now that maybe don't look quite as good. But I really have to say at the time, this was some of the most incredible visual effects I'd ever seen. I was absolutely blown away. They also did such an awesome job of mixing in practical effects with the CGI. Dr. Octopus's arms are actually puppeted, each one by a 4-person crew.
Yeah.
So they literally have 16 people moving those arms around in certain scenes.
A 70-pound rig he was wearing at all times, basically.
I read 100. So
Oh, okay.
I mean,
All right.
he had a huge heavy rig on him, and that, like, his physique, you could tell that it's really taking his muscles to move it. I mean, I think they did such a good job. We'll talk about him momentarily, but Alfred Molina is so well cast here because he does have that heft, that physicality to move those things around, but you can see him kind of straining to move them too. And
Hmm.
it's just a true marvel of visual effects, and I think it very much rightly won the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects at the Oscars the next year.
Yeah, which was the first time a superhero movie had won an Academy Award, and rightfully so. And I've been a firm believer that in order to win an Oscar, I feel like you need to be doing something that sets the bar going forward. Sometimes we see that, oftentimes we don't. This movie definitely set a new benchmark from a visual effects perspective and paved the way going forward. Like everybody wanted to use that as the bar.
Absolutely. Yeah, this definitely set the bar for superhero films and frankly in a lot of visual effects areas. Now, the last thing we need to talk about here, Mike, is the music because I hadn't realized there's actually pretty interesting stuff here. So, as with the previous Spider-Man film, Danny Elfman, the superhero goat as we've coined him so far,
He's back. Well, no, John Williams was the GOAT.
John Williams is the goat of all composers, but given the breadth of his experience in the superhero genre, I think we give the superhero goat to Danny Elfman. We can debate this further on later if we want, but there's some very interesting stuff here around this, Mike. And one of the things I did not realize is that there was a falling out that took place between Sam Raimi and Danny Elfman during this movie. Did you hear about this?
No, tell me.
If you recall, back in our episode around Batman, you brought up a very interesting fact about Danny Elfman and his techniques as he composes scores. Mike, do you remember what that was?
Yeah, that he refuses to use canned music.
Temp tracks. That's correct.
Yeah.
Danny Elfman doesn't like to use temp tracks. He likes to use his imagination to just fully come up with the score on the spot. Unfortunately, Sam Raimi heard the score for Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, and was like, bro, do this. This is sick. It's so good. And Mike, let me tell you, having just listened to it, it is sick. It's
Okay.
really good. And
Yeah.
actually, you can hear it. Now, this is what he wanted for the Dr. Octopus scenes. Danny Elfman was like, I don't work like that, bro. That's not how I do it. He's like, no, do it like this guy, do it like Young. And Elfman was like, well, if you like it so much, why don't you just hire Christopher Young? And guess what?
Oh
He was
no.
like, okay. And he hired Christopher Young.
Oh
So
no.
essentially, the score, it reuses, Elfman did do some new music for it. It obviously reuses a lot of the themes from the first film, but Christopher Young came in to kind of complete the score. And it's kind of one of those like Danny Elfman and others kind of finished it. And then he
Directed
actually
by
stuck.
Richard Donner, but not really.
Yeah, exactly. And he stuck with Christopher Young for Spider-Man 3. So he called it a miserable post-production environment, and it was just really not great. He was very vocal about the rift, and he famously declared that he would rather go back to washing dishes than experience a production like that again. He was like, I'm out, I'm done, that sucked. The good news is this story has a happy ending. As we discussed in our previous episode, they work things out. They're reunited for Sam Raimi's Oz the Great and Powerful, as well as Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So they squashed the beef eventually, but yeah, he did not like being told use that temp track. It underscores what you brought up in that episode about the Batman score. He's just not a guy that works that way.
I mean, I agree with Danny. Knowing what he's capable of and seeing all the iconic bangers that he's made over the years, like, why would you disagree with him now? I understand you like this other film. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I can definitely see both sides, and I think they did actually end up kind of interpolating some of that Hellraiser theme into Doc Ock's themes. If you listen to it, you can kind of tell. But
Okay.
it's a bummer to hear that they had a falling out over this, but that's how it went. I personally think this is a better score than Spider-Man 1. I'm going to say that we're going 5 for 5 here. This is better than Spider-Man 1. I think Dr. Octopus's theme is awesome.
I remember thinking while watching the opening credits that the music was really good, and it just continued on throughout the movie. And I didn't know anything about Danny Elfman not working on it, but yeah, I felt like it was also another thing that upped its game. I thought it was incredible. Yeah, so I'll definitely go for 5 with you.
Yeah. I mean, the theme during the dramatic subway car part is also just beautiful music, really moving, incredible score here, too. So the crew for Spider Man 2 was a mix of old and new, but the main actors were coming back. However, Mike, it almost wasn't so. Do you know the story about Jake Gyllenhaal and nearly getting recast as Spider Man?
A little bit, but I don't know the details. So happily share with me and the people at home.
Between Spider Man and Spider Man 2, Tobey Maguire made the horse racing drama Seabiscuit, a film I recently rewatched and was like, yeah, that's good. It's good.
Agreed.
Future Superhero Cinema Club stars Jeff Bridges and Chris Cooper rounding out the cast. You love to see it. But Toby had some pre existing back issues, which were aggravated by riding the horses in Seabiscuit. By the time that Spider Man 2 came around, he was really messed up, Mike. His back had a lot of problems. Now, if you notice in Spider Man 2, he's falling on his back constantly. And
Yeah.
that was a little inside joke between Sam Raimi and Toby and the producers of the film. Shots fired at the producers. There's also a very brief mention. I have to freeze frame it because I didn't notice it. But during the montage, when he gives up being Spider-Man, there's a newspaper and there's a subheadline about back pain leads to mental problems.
Oh,
And this
wow.
was a direct shot at the producers of the film who were like, if he can't do it, we will recast it with Jake Gyllenhaal. And in fact, they actually did recast it and were ready to go. However, Tobey Maguire was dating the daughter of the head of Universal Studios. And he was like, all right, I'm going to cross the line and I will tell them he can do it. Don't recast it. He's fine. And they
Wow.
basically made him do a series of medical tests that were like, if you do this, because it was really serious. They said if he falls the wrong way, he could end up paralyzed. So the insurance issues and all that stuff that comes with a big stunt movie like this, right? They're like,
Yeah.
had to be very careful. And a rival studio head basically got him back in the movie instead of Jake Gyllenhaal, who would have been Spider Man. It's a
That's
pretty
amazing.
interesting what if. Here too, Mike, I'm going to say Toby's better in this one than the first one. Do you agree?
I think he is better. He's a little more comfortable in the role for sure. He's more confident. You know, he's already done it at this point. He's still him. I feel like he's not always a great actor. I do actually really like him in Seabiscuit, but I'm really more interested in what Jake Gyllenhaal would bring to the table as Peter Parker. Like, that's kind of interesting to me. I could see that.
100%. He will join the Spider Man franchise decades down the line as Mysterio, obviously. And I should have mentioned this before, but maybe some of the motivation behind them potentially wanting to recast was the fact that Toby was like, yeah, I'll do it. You guys just got to pay me $17 million this time. And in 2004, Jake Gyllenhaal was not making $17 million. He's probably making $1.7 million. So,
Right.
they were like, maybe we could just recast it and save ourselves some money. But it worked out as it should have. And I think Toby does a much better job in this movie. He has a lot more to do, I would say, just in terms of his character is so put upon in this film and he really has to sell it. And I feel horrible for the guy the entire time. That's really what this movie's about, is like he makes you feel so sympathetic for him.
Nothing goes his way in this movie for sure.
Exactly. Also returning, Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane Watson. Her acting career is taking off. She's dating sexy astronaut.
Yeah, astronaut
Things
Mike
are
Dexter. That's right.
things are looking up, and yet it's not all good for her. We said it in the last one, Mike. She is so damn adorable in these films, and I think she's even more adorable in this. I love her outfits. The brown hat and the polka dot outfit at the end of the movie at the cafe is amazing. She looks great throughout. She has the spunk, she has the charm. I think she's better than the first film. Do you agree?
I do not, and I hated that outfit that you're just describing. The brown
What?
polka dot outfit. Ugh, awful.
Doug, this is what cute girls wore in the year 2004, Mike. Come on.
The hat was good. The dress was not. That's I just ate a giant bowl of pasta shit brown dress.
Oh my God. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, just something about this movie. I don't know. She's like, I don't think she's She didn't have the same kind of charm in this one to me. I don't know what it is exactly. I can't put it into words necessarily, but I think she's better in the first one. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, fair enough. Use your Spidey sense. That's all you can do. Harry Osborn is back again. James Franco, he's mad, Mike.
He's
He's mad. He's
he's
drunk.
mad.
He's brooding.
He's
He's
drunk and mad.
slapping
Yeah,
his best
that's it.
friend, just slapping him twice in public at a high class gala like that. Oh man, he's mad. Man, is he brooding. And that's about it for Harry in this movie. I definitely think that he is the weak link of the film. Again, I love James Franco. I think he's done so many good things,
Wow.
and I'm a
Tell us
fan of
more.
his.
How you love canceled James Franco.
We're all
Go
human
on.
beings, Mike. We all have made mistakes. I'm not talking about anything with that. I think James Franco has left an excellent impression across many different genres of films and television series. However, it's rough here, man. I mean,
It
it's
is
like
rough.
kind of bad, right? Like at times it's a little bad.
He's I think a lot of it is just the script and what they give him to do because it's really just like your character is that you're mad about your dad being killed by Spider-Man, and that's basically it. Like there's one scene where he's like, "Well, we got to talk about your pal Spider-Man." And then they change the conversation and then he's like, "But we got to talk about your pal Spider-Man." And it's kind of embarrassing what they do with him, and Peter's like, "Again with this? We're going to talk about it again." Like they do kind of address it, but yeah, it's like, no, this is all this character is thinking about. He's very one-dimensional, and it's he does fine for the role, I guess, but yeah, it's a much weaker performance this time.
Yeah, it's a little one note. It does really pay off to me because I did feel at the time seeing this in theaters on opening night, which I definitely did with the homie Josh. Shout outs to Josh. The big reveal where he finally pulls off the mask and sees that it's Spider-Man is Peter Parker. The dramatic stakes there, the big reveal, like amazing stuff. But overall, we talked about good character development in this movie. It works within the framework of the movie, but it's just one note throughout, and I definitely think he's the weak link of the film.
He feels like a side character. It's like this character's not really important. Like any other movie, this character would have died at the end of it.
Well, you know who's not the weak link of this movie? Our big new character, Dr. Otto Octavius, aka Doc Ock, Dr. Octopus, Dr. Octagonacologist. That's a
Whoa.
different
Okay.
that's a different character. Shout out Cole Keith. Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus. Now, there was a bit of controversy, Mike, when they cast him because, like, I guess I would say Roy Orbison, if he was an actor, would be the ultimate Dr. Octopus based on how he's drawn in the comic books. Obviously, Alfred Molina does not look like Roy Orbison. Definitely, I would say not comic accurate, but Alfred Molina crushes in this movie. I think he is far and away better than Green Goblin as both a character and as a villain. He's really scary. His physical movements, as we've already discussed, are really cool. I love the way they styled him too, with the trench coat and open chest. This is good stuff, man. Really, really good stuff by Alfred
Yeah,
Molina.
you Alfred Molina open chested does it for you. It sounds like.
Goddamn right it does.
I
All day
think
and then some.
it's funny you say Roy Orbison because I have a very distinct memory of. I think I still have the comic somewhere, but there's one comic that I've read where Spider-Man does quip that he looks like an evil Roy Orbison. So that's funny.
I'm just saying.
I will say he looks comic accurate enough. Like it's great what they did with him. Like he doesn't look cheesy. They somehow managed to make that stupid haircut work for him. No, he's the man. It's Alfred Molina, dog. Like he's amazing. This is perfect casting for this role. I'm so glad they brought him back for No Way Home.
Yeah, I would even go so far as to say I think Dr. Octopus is in that highest tier of superhero villains. It's difficult to have a really great villain in all respects, but from the costume to his character's arc, which is really about redemption, right? He's a good person. You meet him, Peter Parker becomes friends with him, meets his wife, they're making a connection.
Yeah.
and he rediscovers his humanity at the end and actually does the big heroic act, not Spider-Man. So love his character, love his story arc, love his design, love Alfred Molina. Top scores all around. Let's get into our big categories. As always, we're going to start with best action scene. A little interesting with this one because we kind of talked about it. Like, there's not as much action in the first half of this movie. It's a little bit slower. I would say the first kind of action scene is when Spider-Man misses out on MJ's big performance because he's got to stop the guys in the cars, and there's a really cool shot with him just swinging between the cab of the semi truck and the load in the back.
Yeah.
So cool.
It's a great shot.
Cool stuff. The way he pulls him out of the convertible by like launching him to the lamp. Very good stuff. So there's our first one. The accident at Oscorp. And I think we can even bundle this because it comes quickly thereafter with the terror in the OR. Kind of one big action scene. Amazing stuff here. So first off, the accident itself is great. The way it's done and everyone's feeling good. It's confident. He's making a renewable power source that would truly be revolutionary had it succeeded.
We see Jin from Lost.
Yes, there's so many cameos from small actors. Daniel Day Kim, shout out to him. He's in this. But a really scary and an awesome scene. And, Spider-Man coming in to unplug it. And that shot of him just leveraging himself against the wall to unplug it is super cool. Love that. And then, we touched on it, but we got to just deep dive on it. I mean, the scene in the OR is, I don't know. I mean, this is like one of the coolest scenes in superhero history. It's certainly one of the most
It's
distinct, I would say.
definitely the most distinct. It's like I said, this is where his horror movie roots shine through. This is like Peter Jackson bringing some of his stuff into Lord of the Rings with like the Paths of the Dead kind of shit. So, did you know that the shot where the nurse digs her fingernails in and is pulled back, and you see her nails are like ripping up the tile of
Yes.
the floor? They did that. They made a wax floor so she could do that. That's how they did
Oh,
that
that's
scene. I
cool.
thought that was really cool. So the camera shot where you see every camera from the arm and eventually it splits four different ways and you see every arm and the way that it's moving. So inventive. Sam Raimi is just absolutely fucking cooking in this scene. It's just amazing. So this is upper echelon, I would say. Maybe not the greatest action scene in the movie, but it's up there for sure.
That's what's amazing is that this would be better than any action scene in most superhero films. And I
Yeah,
agree. I don't think it's number one. Next up, the bank branch battle. Poor Aunt May getting foreclosed on. You got smug Joel McHale just
I
smugging it
know.
up. Smugging it up.
Sorry, you don't get a toaster.
Yeah, just terrible. Who should show up to steal literal bags of gold coins, which is just. I love that they're just like, we're going full comic book here. He's not going after cash. He's
Were there dollar signs on those bags?
I know, right? Like amazing. Also, you get Spider-Man's best quip, like keep the change and throws it back to him.
I
Good
guess.
stuff. I think that's his
Sure.
best quip in this one. I think it's good.
Okay.
And then, of course, the Aunt May battle too, which is just great. Just such a cool battle, the way it goes down on the side of the building. I love the way that the perspective kind of shows them fighting parallel, even though they're actually vertical. He drops her and says Butterfingers, another good little comic book line there.
That was good. Yeah.
Drops down, gets back up. The forced perspective where Aunt May's hanging on to the gargoyle. Oh no, just onto the statue. What am I gonna? And then, oh no, thank you, lady. And great stuff.
Yeah, she has to drop 5 inches. So Alfred Molina and Tobey Maguire did a lot of their own stunts in this movie, but also Rosemary Harris as Aunt May apparently did some of her own stunts. Like there's the obvious shots where she's computer generated, but she apparently did a lot of her own work as well, including like hanging from a statue by an umbrella. So good on her, whatever age she was at that point in her life. But man, I can only hope to achieve such badassness at that same age for myself.
Mike, I don't know if we said it last episode. God bless her.
Yeah,
Rosemary Harris is still with us. She's 95 now, I want to say.
amazing.
It's been a few years since she's done any acting, but so she would have been in her 70s at this point, or late 60s. Just absolutely crushing here. Great stuff from Aunt May. Next up, the fire rescue. So kind of a callback to the first movie. I have to say, I really found this like quite harrowing. I felt the stakes were really dramatic because Spider-Man doesn't have his powers and he's saving a small child. The last one, he goes in, he gets duped by the goblin, so it's kind of a fun parallel there. And then you've got saving the baby. The parents are super worried outside. Kind of a shorter one, but I thought this was a very harrowing scene. I enjoyed it.
Dude, the set in this scene is incredible. The way that the fire moves around him, everything looked 100% real. Nothing looked CG. If it was, then they did their job and it looked absolutely real. But I felt like it stepped up the game so much more from the last movie. I was just like, this set is incredible. Everything's falling around him. Like things are just randomly exploding around him into flames, like I don't know how they did it, man. This scene is absolutely incredible from just a production design standpoint.
I want to jump ahead to the very end because I think there's some good stuff there with Mary Jane trying to go after Doc Ock and hit him with the board, and the arm just grabs it. And then Peter takes off his mask and reveals, hey, I know you, allowing him for that redemption, giving him the chance to be the hero at the end of the movie, regain his humanity, and die in peace, be with his wife again. Very heartening, moving scene. What's interesting about it is that that's kind of almost like a little coda. It's a little capstone because in between these two scenes is Mike, I believe, absolutely on the short list of the greatest superhero action set pieces of all time. I know I've said this before, and listeners know I am prone to hyperbole.
Captain Hyperbole.
I don't think it's any exaggeration at all. No one in their right mind that is a superhero cinema fan would disagree. The train battle with Dr. Octopus, the entire set piece, from the moment that Spider-Man steals back the costume from J. Jonah Jameson, which is just such a funny, great scene. By the way, J. Jonah Jameson, definitely better in this one than the first
100%.
one. He's cooking. Yeah, he's cooking so hard.
It's so much funnier.
We left him out. But he steals the suit back. You see Dr. Octopus climbing. It's a reflection in his glasses as he heads over to the tower. Spider-Man jumps on the flagpole at the top. There's a visual callback there. Their battle on the side of the building is awesome. Throwing pieces of the clock at him, coming back and forth. It feels brutal. I think that's another thing. This film was nominated for Sound Awards. It didn't win, but the sounds in this movie, the actual violence feels really painful. Every fall that he has, every punch that he takes feels absolutely brutal in this film. And they are just wailing on each other on the side of that building. Goes down to the train. If you're a New Yorker, shout out to our New York audience. We know you're out there. We love y'all. You're like, there are no L trains in New York. There's no elevated trains anymore.
Oh my God, I never thought of that. That's amazing.
Not a thing, Mike. So this is where we've praised Spider-Man, and rightfully so, for being realistic and taking place in an actual city. They shot this in Chicago. That's where the L trains are. It's in Chicago.
Holy shit, that's amazing.
With that out of the way, what an unbelievable scene. I mean, again, the violence here, the arms shooting through the glass, just pummeling him into the ground, and then just pulling the brakes off and just like, oh, good luck, bro.
Yep.
Save the train. And then, of course, his just incredible, all right, I'm going to do something. I don't know if I can. It's failing at first. It's not working. Putting his whole body on the line.
He fails twice. He tries and fails twice.
Yeah. Saving everyone on that train. And then so physically exhausted, they lift him up. I mean, that's the whole thing with this scene, Mike, is that you have superhero films where I have to save the world. I have to save Sokovia from floating away into space or whatever.
Right.
I have to save these giant things. He just has to save this car. And when you bring the stakes back down to a smaller scale, that actually ups the drama. It actually, in a weird way, reminds me of the Joseph Stalin quote that one death is a tragedy.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. No, it's a really famous quote, and it certainly applies to superhero cinema.
I know you're a subscriber of his pod. So.
Yeah. No, it's a great line. One death is a tragedy. A million deaths are a statistic. And that is really true. And it really applies to this. You're really, really invested in him saving this train, saving these people. You know, there's a lot of shots of their reactions in there. And
It puts me in mind of what Mussolini said. No, I'm just kidding.
about the trains running on time, is that where you're going with that? Or
That's right.
um, but yeah, I mean, to cap it off, they lift him up, carry him through the train, and take a look. His secret identity has been exposed for everyone to see. They all know him. Now, first of all, this does not work in the modern world. Everyone has their cell phones out,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he's immediately being identified, put on blast on the internet. But it's really moving, Mike. And I think we didn't talk about the 9/11 stuff in the last film. That might be our mistake. It's a difficult subject to talk about. I think it's sensitive to me and everyone in America that kind of was an adult and lived through it, even kids. Like, it was a very difficult time. There's obviously a lot of post 9/11 spirit, I would say, to these movies, if not
Definitely.
explicit homages, right?
Yeah.
This is the big one, right? Where it's like, we are going to respect you. You're a hero. We're going to take care of you as someone who's been hurt and
You're a New
injured.
Yorker. You're one of our own.
You're
Yeah.
one of us. The kids are involved. And then what I love too, the score is beautiful. You're really moved emotionally. And then boom, Dr. Octopus shows back up. Now I'm here again. Like, it's like scary. It's kind of a jump thing. And he's like, you're going to have to go through me and me and me. And everybody stands up for him. This is just, Mike, come on, man. You really can't craft a better superhero action sequence. The emotion, the action, visual effects, stakes, it's all there. It's just such great stuff.
I mean, you've said it all. This is completely iconic. I completely agree with everything you said. This is 100% the best scene in the movie and probably the best scene in any Spider-Man movie. So this 100% takes the cake.
Thank you for letting me monologue there like I was a dastardly villain. So, non-action scene. This is a lot of the movie, as we discussed. It's kind of almost hard to nail it down. It's like an inverse X3, where there's so many good non-action scenes
Yeah,
that it's hard
sure.
to actually pick out the good ones.
It's because everything actually like contributes to the film. Like all the non-action
That's
scenes
right.
have a point, and X3 did not.
Well, and that starts with the pizza delivery. He is the opening of the scene. He says, and I quote, "You're my only hope. You have to make it in time." This is what he says to him delivering pizzas. You create something that has parallel stakes to his actual job, and it's really harrowing. You're really rooting for him to get there and make that pizza delivery on time.
He also says you have to go 42 blocks in 7.5 minutes. And Mark, let me tell you, I've been doing some research about this. Is it actually possible for Peter Parker as a normal human being, not Spider-Man, to go 42 blocks in 7.5 minutes? And if we're going the small way, like, because New York blocks are rectangles, right? Not squares. So if we're going the short way, technically it is possible. If he goes at least 16 miles per hour on his little stupid motorbike thing that he rides, he can do 42 blocks in 7.5 minutes. But if he's going the long ways, it is absolutely not if he's going uptown or whatever, like, no, that shit is not fucking possible. It might be if he's Spider-Man. It might be. Like, if he's skipping past all the traffic and shit, like, maybe he might make it by the skin of his teeth, but no.
Very impressed by your research there. That is really good stuff, actually. Yeah, I would never think you would have any chance either way. It wouldn't matter. And with traffic, it's tough. With all the bike lanes now, because I think he technically could get away with riding, I believe it's a moped. It's kind of half motorcycle, half bike. So I think he could probably get in the bike lanes and maybe would make it. But that was, over 20 years ago. They didn't have those bike lanes back then. So
Right.
that's a tough.
Also, shout out to Asif Manvi from The Daily Show as Mr. Aziz there in the opening scene.
Totally. So let's just get this out of the way. Asif Mandi, Emily Deschanel as the clerk, as the receptionist.
Yes.
Elizabeth Banks, who's back again from the last one, but a little bit bigger of a role in this one. Dylan Baker as Dr. Kurt Connors, who should have been the villain of Spider-Man 3, but that's a conversation for another day.
They were trying to set it up, but maybe not. Yeah, who knows?
Bruce Campbell's back. Great cameo from him. Let's debate this real quick. I like him a little more in the first Spider-Man, but only a little more. He is so funny in that scene. So funny.
He's a little flashier in that scene. I love the yellow sequin jacket that he's wearing in that scene. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
he gives him his name. He's like, "What's your name?" The Human Spider. No, that sucks.
exactly.
Yeah, like, come on, man, that's a great role.
Really great work still in here. Just good comedy stuff with him coming in late. As you mentioned, Daniel Day Kim is one of the receptionists, and then Joel McHale is the bank teller. Who else you got?
The dude from Chappelle's Show shows up
Yes,
as like
Darnell Rawlings.
yeah, he sold that guy's pizzas. Yeah.
And let's settle it now. I think his cameo was a little briefer in this one, but Stan Lee in both of these films gets to save people. He gets to be a hero in both movies.
Both times, and I love seeing Stan Lee saving people as opposed to just be like, "Hey, man, make love, not war," or whatever in Avengers Endgames. Like having him actually do something is so much of a cooler cameo. I feel like.
What's fun is that at this point, it's still blink and you miss it. You know,
Right,
like in
right.
all of the Avengers and all the later ones, like Thor Ragnarok, he's the haircut guy. You're
Oh, that's great
kind of
though.
primed looking for him. I mean, it's great, but it's still like, you know, it's going to be a big scene. And even in X-Men, he's standing there conspicuously a couple times in those movies. These are just like blink and you miss it and he's gone.
At some point, we need to have the conversation around like who has the best cameo. Is it like Stanley or Alfred Hitchcock or something like that? You know what I mean?
We will do a bonus episode on the best Stan Lee cameo, and we will go through all of them in order and talk about them at some point. So, for sure, I don't think he's going to win that for Spider-Man 2 being look out and like pushing the lady out of the way. But
But it's a great spot for him for
like I
sure.
said, I like that he gets to be heroic in both of them. Next best non-action scene, the elevator ride, bro. Oh my god, it's just so funny. I mean, imagine that Spider-Man has to take an elevator to go down to the ground floor. Like, it is such a funny visual gag. Hal Sparks, the comedian in the role.
I was gonna say, do we know this guy?
Yeah, he was like kind of on a lot of like talk shows and stuff back in the day. I haven't seen him in a while, but yeah, Hal Sparks was. I think he also hosted Talk Soup at one point too, maybe. But like Joel McHale. But yeah, just funny stuff, man. I love that scene. I gotta say, I got a lot of love for the MJ Peter dynamic scenes in this movie. I know you kind of were crapping on MJ a little bit earlier, but
Just she's not as cute, but I see what you
well, it's
mean.
because she's pissed at him through a lot of this movie. And I think the
Yeah.
ways that she chews him out and lets him know that I'm still here for you. She's always like, yo, I want to be with you. I want to be with you. Basically the entire movie. And he's like flipping, flopping. He's missing out on her stuff. I think all that really works for me.
It's painful when she's like, "No, you're right. I actually do want to be with you in the coffee shop." And he's like, "Well, actually, both of our brains have been playing tricks on us." It's like, "Fuck, dude, what are you doing?"
Apparently Sam Raimi was a little bit worried because I think we brought it up. They were dating during the first movie, and so there was real chemistry. They had broken up, and so he was a little bit worried about like how's that going to work on film. But I think it works great in the dynamic of this movie, actually. So I'm just gonna spoil it here. My vote is going for "Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head" montage. I have to say, Mike, one of the things I noticed about this film that's brilliant is that it parallels the first film in so many ways. It's an inverse image of the first movie. And one of the things we called out is that, like Superman, this movie is literally split into half. The first movie in the same thing. There's the montage, and then it cuts to J. Jonah Jameson. He's fully Spider-Man now. In this one, he throws away his spider costume. And the next scene we get is the "Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head" montage. Mike, I can't tell you how hard I was dying in the theater laughing at this. Spider-Man 2 is hilarious. Maybe we haven't said it enough in this podcast. This is, I think, one of the funniest superhero movies of all time as well. The jokes all slap so hard. They all get me going. And this montage killed me, capped off by that freeze frame where he's smiling and going slightly out of focus.
It's so 70s.
I died, dude. I left my body and died when I first saw that, Mike. I love the montage. It's so good.
I think for me, best non-action scene is basically any scene with Aunt May in this movie. Every scene with Aunt May, I feel like steps up its game so much. She is being super authentic, very emotional. Her acting is incredible in every scene. We get the scene where Peter confesses to her that it's actually his fault that Uncle Ben has died. I've tried so hard to tell you this so many times. And her reaction is basically just like to take her hand away from him and leave the room. That is extremely impactful, I felt like, in that scene. We get the scene where he comes back to her and she's selling everything that she owns in a garage sale so that she can move to a cheaper apartment. And she's like, "No, it's okay. Like, I thought about it. We don't have to talk about it. I forgive you. And also, here's the value of a hero in today's modern age." And she gives him all that bit of advice. She crushes it in the action scenes, as we talked about, for a 70 something year old woman. It's amazing. Everything to me with anime related in this film just felt so impactful. Like every time she's on screen, I'm like, this is great. This is amazing. She is making the stakes of everything that Peter is doing become so much more heightened that it takes a great actress to do something like that, and she just fucking crushes it.
So I think we're going to give her the award for the best supporting character, the good guy award for you.
Best non-mutant, yeah, whatever we're calling it this season.
Let's talk about secret layers and costuming next. So we actually get a secret layer in this one, which is cool. Dr. Octopus's lab down by the seaport.
Yeah, the docks.
Love it. Love it. This is what a supervillain's lair should look like. It's rusty, but it's secluded. It's kind of dusty. It seems private. It's dark, but you can still get stuff done. Big fan of the secret lair in this one. As with really all of the costuming, we talked about his outfits already.
Yeah, I know you're a big fan of shirtless Doc Ock.
Love it. Love it. Give me more Alfred Molina without a shirt on. That's what I say.
It's a good secret lair. Costumes are great. They, like I said, they found a way to make his comic version, Roy Orbison himself, feel realistic and grounded. And yeah, everything about that character just works from every production design standpoint, especially when it comes to, we talked about the arms. Like, apparently, you talked about all the different puppeteers that were creating the arms and making them interact with him. Each arm had its own name. I think it was like Harry, Larry, Barry, and then Flo. And Flo was the arm that would be more nurturing. And so it was the arm that would like take his glasses off and like give him the glass of whiskey or like a cup of coffee or whatever. Like that arm was the one in particular. So that would do those things. And I just thought that was a really interesting attention to detail that they would think to give each arm its own kind of personality in that respect. So they thought that character through and through. So good on them for doing that.
Yeah, it's truly great. Those arms really remind me of the little snakes in Tremors. Also, if you remember
Oh,
Tremors,
interesting. Yeah, yeah.
I always have recalled that for me, like a mechanized version of the Tremors. They're scary. They're really scary. That's one thing in the comics. It's just kind of like he's got these arms. They're just kind of used to move him around or whatever. But like in this, they have personality. They're scary. Like I just can't believe what a good job they did with Dr. Octopus, from costuming to secret lair. Especially, Mike, I don't know if I brought it up. Alfred Molina without his shirt on, it just looks so cool with him.
Cool your
And
jets.
the jacket. There's some slight tweaks they made to the Spider-Man outfit. I don't know if you noticed that the colors were a little bit richer, kind of brighter, and they made the spider on the front a little bit bigger. I think this is a great Spider-Man costume. He looks awesome in this movie.
I read that too, that they tweaked it a little bit. I gotta say, I can't tell. It looks exactly the same to me, which is fine. It's a good suit.
Our next category, secret identity. Secret identity is interesting in this one because there's certain elements where they play with it explicitly. The train scene, like we mentioned. Then there's times where you're thinking, should other people figure it out? Apparently, there's a theory that your guy, Robbie Robertson, actually does have put it together.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
really know how they elaborate on that theory. There's other people that should. I like the fact that Mary Jane does the secret kiss with her fiance to test the kiss to reveal the secret identity.
Yeah,
You have
definitely.
the Harry stuff. I think the way that they play with secret identity in this movie is actually one of the best examples in all of superhero cinema.
It reminded me a lot of Batman Returns because he does play fast and loose with his secret identity a little bit more. He's like ripping his mask off a lot more, and this time just being like, "Oh, hey, it's me." Like, this is more impactful if you know that it's me. So I'm going to talk to you right now as Peter Parker rather than Spider-Man. And then, Mary Jane, you saw that, and we're just going to deal with it now at the end of the movie, kind of thing. There's like 3 different scenes where he just kind of takes his mask off. It's just like, I need to talk to you person to person rather than superhero to supervillain. At the time when this came out, I was kind of making fun of that, but now as an adult and I'm watching it, I'm like, hey, this is actually from a screenwriting perspective is pretty good.
Exactly. Yeah, it's written into the actual story in the script in ways that are really compelling throughout, from the people on the train seeing his secret identity and not revealing it, to Harry finally discovering his secret identity and just being horrified. It's really cool the way that they play with this throughout the movie.
The Harry scene is really cool too because it's not his choice. Like, he's unconscious and then he takes his mask off and see, like, they don't mess around with Harry not taking his mask off for whatever reason. It's just like, no, let's just get to it. He wants to know who he is, so he's going to take his mask off and then we'll deal with the repercussions later. It doesn't matter right now. Mary Jane's in trouble. So I thought that was really good.
That scene also has one of those small but super great production details that we've discussed that I just love. He wraps him in barbed wire. I love
Oh
that he
yeah, that's
wraps him
quite
up in
painful.
barbed wire. Just such a cool villainous little action there, All the tiny details in this film are great. All right, Mike, it's time to get into our total destruction and death toll here. If you remember from our last episode, it was 13 people died. This one is not as bad, actually.
I got 12.
Okay. Why don't you give them to me? Because I got Rosie is our first death.
Yep.
Dr. Octopus's wife.
That's right.
Now, it depends on the number of surgical staff. What did you count that at?
10.
Okay. That's really where it comes in then.
I counted 10 people in the room because there's a shot where it zooms out and you see all the different people working there. And so I was like, I have to assume that he kills every person in the room.
For sure.
So I counted 10 people in that shot.
Got it. And then it's just Doc Ock himself, right? That's
right.
It's just,
that's it.
Yeah.
So 12.
Yeah, it's really just 3 scenes of death, and that's all. I don't think debris. Stan Lee's out here saving people from falling debris, so I think they're okay. So yeah, I think it's just a tidy 12, not as bad, and certainly not on the X-Men Apocalypse scale. That's for darn sure.
That's right.
Let's talk about the evil scheme real quick, Mike. This is really one of the only areas where I guess I would somewhat criticize the film, because I don't really get it. I understand that you've been humiliated and your humiliation actually led to physical disfigurement.
Sure.
And so you want to prove them wrong, but your formula doesn't work, dude. Like, it's going to create a giant ball that's going to suck everything into it. Like, why are you trying to replicate the experiment again? You know what happened last time. I don't really understand his scheme.
The only thing I can think is that his ego is bruised and he wants to prove that he's right. So I'm going to do it again. And he's reinforced by a AI system that is implanted into his cerebellum or whatever that's telling him that he's right. So we need to do it again. But yeah, I completely agree. I was like, what is this going to accomplish? You're on the run. You're now a murderer because you've been like kidnapping people and robbing banks or whatever. Was he a murderer? I don't know. Whatever.
Well, I guess he didn't technically murder.
No, he murdered
people in
the
the
doctors. Yeah, that's
But it was the arms. He was unconscious. So
okay. Well, the police don't know
you're still
that,
gonna put
so
it
he's
on
on the
there.
run
Yeah,
for
okay.
being a murderer.
Okay.
What is his plan? Like, I'm gonna prove everybody right for making my thing actually work, and then Elon Musk is gonna buy my energy rights or something. Like, I don't know, man. Like, this didn't make any sense to me.
He was chasing that like tech investment money before it was a thing, I guess, and like that's the whole idea here. But
I will say, energy bros, energy billionaires, they don't care about the morals of what you've been doing. Like, if you submit a good product, they will invest.
fair enough. The one part of his evil scheme I do think is quite clever is his manipulations of Harry, where he says, I need to get Spider-Man. You hate Spider-Man. Give me some hints. It's really Harry's evil scheme, I suppose.
I
He's
was
the
going
one
to
that's
say
like,
it's the opposite way. Yeah.
it's Harry's scheme is actually quite clever. Bring me him alive and you'll get what you want. Like, that's pretty good. So I think we got your good guy award. It sounds like you're going with Aunt May.
Aunt May. Yeah, she's great.
I'm going to go with same guy as last time. J. Jonah Jameson, as portrayed by J.K. Simmons. He just cooks, man. Every
Great
scene
choice.
that he's in, he is absolutely cooking. He's so funny in this. I love the line where Elizabeth Banks is like, your wife lost her checkbook. He's like, thanks for the good news. You know, like just so many little tossed off lines. I love it. I think he's so great. And I think this is the best J. Jonah Jameson of all the Spider-Man movies. Great stuff here.
I love during the wedding at the end when he realizes that his son has been stood up. He's like, call Debbie. The caterer?
Tell her don't open the caviar. Yeah.
Exactly.
Because they're bickering about that earlier in the movie. He's like, we don't need caviar. Like, what do we need? And then it comes full circle. It's just such good stuff. Such good stuff. It's time for our special Spider-Man section now. Peter Parker problems. Mike.
A lot of them.
Mike. I don't even know where to start. Okay, let's just go through.
10 out of 10.
Let's just go through the very beginning of the movie. Okay, he gets fired as a pizza delivery driver. He almost gets fired from the Daily Bugle, and then, against his will, has to sell the picture. Oh, but guess what? I gave you an advance, so you don't actually even get any money. Aunt May gives him $20 and bursts into tears because she's so poor.
Yes.
And then immediately gets snatched out of his hand by his greedy landlord as soon as he gets home. He's about to fail out of college despite being a scientific genius and showing all this promise. His best friend absolutely secretly, well, his best friend doesn't realize his secret, but like literally hates him because he hates Spider-Man so much.
Yes.
Aunt May is going into foreclosure. His girlfriend that he wants to be with is now engaged, and he has to take pictures at her actual engagement party.
Yeah, that sucks.
Aunt May is like, I want to face the person that's responsible for this. I mean, he is catching strays everywhere in this movie.
Absolutely.
Everywhere. It is rough for our boy in this film, man.
So what do you give him? Like 9 out of 10 fighter tears?
So our specific breakdown, financial ruin, 10 out of 10. He is miserably broke throughout this entire movie.
I would say 9 out of 10 because his landlord is like, still, he hasn't evicted him.
That's a fair point. You're actually right. You wouldn't necessarily have that nice. He gets harangued a lot, but he doesn't actually get kicked out. So that's a fair point. 9 out of 10. Romantic failures, 10 out of 10. Hands down.
It's his fault. I'm sorry. He intentionally told her, no, we can't do this. And then he tells her again, like, hey, I'm sorry, my brain was also playing tricks on me. It's kind of his fault.
You want to go 9?
I would say 8 or 7 or 8.
7 or 8. All right, let's up it to 8.
All right.
And then his academic and professional sabotage. He's losing jobs right and left. He can't hold a job, basically. And he's about to flunk out of school. Now, we never really find out if he's able to kind of balance the two by the end. We're going to presume that he gets it together, so he does graduate college.
Yeah.
So let's go with like a 6 there. Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe
fair.
let's go with a set. Like a 7. He loses a job in this movie, so like a 7.
Yeah, that's fair.
That brings us to 25 by my count.
Okay.
Out of 30. I think the last one we had him at like 24, so it's rough, bro. It's really rough for Peter Parker in this film. Now it's time for everyone's favorite category, Mike. I've got questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. And I want to have them answered immediately.
Questions. Questions that need answering.
It just raises too many questions.
Too many questions. There's too many questions. There's just too many. I'll ask the questions.
This is the part of the show where we ask some questions that we still have in spite of loving the movie. Mike, why don't you go ahead and kick us off?
I've been asking this question for 20 years. What does punch me, I bleed mean? That doesn't make any sense.
It's not a metaphor. Punch anyone and they bleed, even Spider-Man when he's
nobody
fully
bleeds
powered.
when you get punched, unless you get punched multiple times like a boxer.
I got punched right between my eyes.
Yeah, by
A
me.
single punch. No, by a single punch, Mike. It's a long story. I won't get into it now. It's not a proud moment in
And
my
you
life,
bled?
but oh yeah, I have a scar still. I literally have a scar.
Okay.
That might have to do with me not going to the doctor and just letting it settle, but I bled. Oh, I bled.
See, I'm just considering like punch me, like hit me in the arm one time kind of thing. Like, yeah, you're not going to bleed from that.
Well, from getting punched in the arm, you won't. But yeah, you take a shot to the nose or between the eyes, you're gonna bleed. Like it's self-evident. So
Fair enough. Fair enough.
my first question is: are we really sure that reading a woman classical poetry will never fail to make her fall madly in love with you? Because that's the
Reading
piece of
Yates.
advice. Yeah, that's the advice that Doc Ock gives him. I don't know that that's true. I think in a lot of situations, in fact, they're going to probably squirm a little bit. It worked really well on your wife because what? She was an English literature
Exactly.
student. Maybe qualify that. Like if your girlfriend is an English lit major, then it never fails. But otherwise, you got like at best a 50-50 chance. And I would give the odds even lower than that.
I'm going to go on a Tinder date and be like, let me read you this poem from the book of Yeats.
Seriously, not really sure that works.
All right, my next one. Peter quits being Spider-Man and like starts taking care of his life and things are going great for him. And then he sees a newspaper with the headline, "Crime up 75%. Where is Spider-Man now?" That is a Daily Bugle headline. So that means that J. Jonah Jameson is like, where is Spider-Man? The guy who's talking shit about him the whole time? You got to explain this to me, Mark. How is this happening?
This is such a good point. I had not even considered that. So first of all, you're saying that if the statistics are true, he is taking out 75% of crime, which is
right.
What are the cops even doing at that point? But then I would say even more crucially, you know that J. Jonah Jameson is a liar and a fabulist. You know
Yes.
this because you are selling him the pictures. Can you even trust that 75% statistic? Like, he's just making stuff up all the time. I mean, there's a lot of things there. He's like, oh my gosh, I got to get back to work. No, the lesson here is don't trust the Daily Bugle. That's the lesson.
That's right.
All right, my next question is, are we really sure that was a great environment for such a high-stakes laboratory experiment, Mike? They're like on the 30th floor of a skyscraper, and it kind of looks like, it's not derelict, I wouldn't say, but it looks like kind of a loft.
It's like a penthouse apartment, yeah.
Exactly. It's not like a clinical, like you need to have this in like a white vacuum sealed, going through the rubber, handling the trivium behind like an unshatterable glass. Like
We got to do this in downtown Brooklyn. Like,
they're like, don't mind the rock band that's in the rehearsal space above us. Like, we're doing this in Brooklyn with the hipsters. Like, come on, man. Like, not sure if that's a great laboratory environment.
oh, that's great. I got to say, I didn't have a lot of questions for this movie because it's pretty tight. They did a good job of like making everything make sense. So I only have one more. And my last one is, are there no authorities looking for Doc Ock? Because he's murdered a bunch of people. He's a failed scientist that like blew up half of Brooklyn. And now he's like a fugitive basically on the run or like presumed dead apparently. Wouldn't the FBI be coming in on this? It's not just down to Spider-Man and New York's finest for sure. There's got to be some like national, CIA, FBI, someone's got to be coming in to look for this guy. But no, every time he shows up, it's just the cops that are there on the street in New York being like, oh, there he is, get him. Pow, pow, pow.
He's also like the most conspicuous human being in the entire 8 million person metro area. Like anywhere he walks, it's like creating like thunderous steps and everything.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a really good one. I got just like two more. We touched on it before.
Okay.
What are the tentacles' beef with humanity? Why are they so sociopathic? I think we worked it out earlier when we discussed it. They are AI that are programmed to do one single thing, and that single thing is handle trivium. And so they override the inhibitor chip, and they're like, let's do that. This is the one purpose we were put here for. So I kind of get it, but I'm also just like, why are they inherently evil? what did we ever do to their arms? Like, all we wanted them to do was just handle a little trivium. Is that so bad? Like, I don't understand where their anger is coming.
It's not like Ultron where we plug him into the internet and all of a sudden he's like, oh yeah, this is absolutely, we got to wipe out all of humanity.
Exactly. All right, my last one is, let's just say that according to your calculations, Peter Parker really does traverse the 42 blocks in 7.5 minutes to get there and deliver the pizzas on time. You take him to the conference room, which is apparently the situation for this delivery, right?
And they're all stuck to the roof.
Completely stuck to the roof of the boxes, Mike. Forget the 7-minute thing. You delivered me actually inedible pizza that's stuck to the roof. You got it here, it's free, but I'm not eating this. There's no cheese on this pizza. You swung it through the city. Were you whipping it around? What's going on?
You completely underestimate the power of those tiny little plastic tables.
That's a great point, Mike. We did not get confirmation one way or another if he had the plastic table in there. If he did, they were probably okay. If not, also, to say nothing of the hygiene of the one guy that gets one slice and then Spider-Man uses his web to pull it back and presumably add it back into the box, which is horrible customer service. I'm just saying, I think...
No, you stick that pizza at the bottom of the stack. Like nobody notices that.
There you go. That's true. They'll never get there anyway. Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, I had some questions about the edible quality of those pizzas. So our next category, what's it really all about? And Mike, the original Spider-Man film was explicitly about sacrifice, the idea that with great power comes great responsibility. But Spider-Man 2 is actually a masterclass in the necessity of self-care. Peter starts the movie caught in a defensive all-or-nothing trap. He tries to carry the absolute stress of the entire city on his shoulders while completely neglecting his civilian needs, his education, his emotional health, and his power loss is entirely psychosomatic. His body is literally forcing an emotional crash because he refuses to take care of Peter Parker. But when he swings to the opposite extreme, dumping the suit in an alleyway trash can so he can happily eat hot dogs and smile and raindrops keep falling on my head, he realizes rejecting his duty entirely leaves a hollow existence. Maturity in Spider-Man 2 isn't about choosing between being only a hero or only a civilian. It's about the critical act of integration. Peter finally evolves into a well-adjusted person when he discovers that you cannot sustainably carry the weight of the world if you do not allow yourself the humanity to live in it. He finds that vital balance not by remaining a brooding, isolated martyr, but by letting go of his secrets, cleaning his conscience with Aunt May, accepting the support of New York citizens who carry him on the train, and ultimately letting Mary Jane in to share his emotional burden. Spider-Man is still weighed down with responsibility, but the sequel extended that responsibility to also include Peter Parker. That's my take. What do you got, Mike?
Well, Mark, as always, what you said was poignant and insightful. But once again, you've missed the point because deep at its core, Spider-Man 2 is nothing but a promotion for male enhancement medications like Cialis and Viagra. Think about it. At the beginning of the movie, Spider-Man is at the height of his abilities. He's swinging through New York City like it's no problem. But as the stress of everyday life, balancing a job, romantic problems, trying to balance his alter ego, it all starts to get to him. And like 1 out of every 5 men, he begins to lose that which makes him super. He can no longer perform, quote unquote, as a superhero. It's not guaranteed for him that the sticky fluid that excretes from his body that he relies on so much will actually do so when it matters. The producers of this movie know that this is a very relatable subject. So much so that in our country, if you turn on any sports game on your TV, you're almost guaranteed to see an advertisement for a product that medical science can cure in 20% of all men. Peter Parker is something of a scientist himself. Who's to say that he didn't develop a performance-enhancing drug on his own to help him regain his own supermanhood? And once he does get it back, he's literally overflowing with the sticky web goo. He can shoot strand after strand after strand, so much of it, in fact, that he can save a train full of passengers from certain doom. If this movie is trying to tell us anything, it's that you too can take a performance-enhancing drug and save the day when it comes to your own romantic problems.
Mike, It's uncanny actually, because we both put a lot of thought and analysis when we watch these films, right? And I come to my conclusions and we talk about them here. I feel good about my, like looking at the themes, and every single time you actually find the subtext that's right there. And I can't believe I missed it. You're totally right.
I just know how to look deeper, man. Like, what can I say?
It's incredible, buddy.
I'm just reading between the lines.
All right, and now it's time to pass judgment. It's time for our final verdict. I'm a little anxious, Mike. I think it's pretty clear where I stand on this film. This is an absolute stone cold classic. Like, this is, you could even make the case, and I probably did at this point. When I walked out of the theater, I said, that is the best superhero movie I have ever seen. There are people who still feel this way, Mike. Shout out to my boy Andy again. This is really close to a perfect movie. It has so much emotion, such great action, incredible characters, great villain, great stakes. The themes are rich. I don't know what else to say that I haven't already said. This is a stone cold classic, Mike. Please, please tell me you agree.
Coming into this recording tonight, I was basically considering like just calling it great. But the more that I thought about it, the more that we've talked about it, so many scenes are just absolutely iconic. The train scene, Aunt May's scenes, as I discussed. I feel like it really straddles the line between great and classic. And I think there's a case to be made to push that line over into classic. It is really fucking good, man. I really can't deny it. It's
What's the bone? Like, what are you
no,
qualifying? You
no,
know what I
there's,
mean? Like, I
there's no
really.
bone. Like, and that's the thing. Like, there is no bone, so it's gonna happen. I'm giving it classic. Let's fucking go.
As our listeners know, Mike does not throw around classic willy nilly. The fact,
I don't use it lightly.
yeah,
That's
he
right.
really, really, I think, tries to almost find a way to not give things classic to a certain extent.
It's like not everything can be The Godfather. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So
No, I respect that. I go a little higher, you go a little lower. The fact that the two of us can come together and both agree that this is a classic speaks to the quality of this film. This is truly, truly a superhero masterpiece. As always, we get you out of here with some recommendations. And if I may, Mike, I'd love to kick it off. I'm going to pivot a little on this one because we generally recommend comic book and a film, but I'm actually going to go with a book recommendation. And it's a book that we referenced earlier in our discussion. That is Michael Chabon's Pulitzer Prize winning The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay. Mike, I honestly can't really put into words what this book meant to me when I read it for the first time. I want to say around 2002, when the first Spider-Man was coming out, somewhere around there. The way that Chabon can articulate how these superhero stories mean so much in our personal lives and the mythology that they pass on to people is incredibly well articulated in this book. As I just said, it won the Pulitzer Prize for fiction. So this is truly acclaimed novel. It is heartbreaking. It is beautiful. It's deeply affecting. There's a lot of stuff with Jewish identity in the book that really resonates with me. It is, I think, a stone cold masterpiece. It actually came up at a meeting at work today, of all things.
interesting.
This is a absolute classic. Have you ever read it, Mike?
No, I haven't.
I cannot recommend this highly enough. It's quite literary. He is very kind of prose driven. It's not so much about like plot. It's a lot more about the way he describes things, but he is a beautiful, elegant writer. And I think if you are someone who is both high-minded and literary, as well as a fan of comic book entertainment, as both of us are, you will really, really enjoy this book. So my highest recommendation, The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay by Michael Chabon. I will go ahead and give my comic recommendation so you can give yours back to back too. For my comic recommendation, I'm going to go, if you have been keeping up with Spider-Man books in more recent years and you know Dr. Octopus, I'm going to go with The Superior Spider-Man. Have you ever read this book, Mike?
I have not. Go ahead.
Dove into it the first time, and it has a really fun and juicy premise. The idea behind it is that Dr. Octopus is dying, and he transfers his consciousness into the body of Peter Parker and takes over his life, hence becoming the superior Spider-Man. So it's basically Spider-Man is being controlled by Dr. Otto Octavius and is taking on his personality, but he also has Peter's responsibility. He kind of is picking up his personality to a certain extent. Peter Parker is there basically kind of haunting him like a ghost and kind of like chiming in of like, what are you doing with my life? Like, what's going on? Like, he's a character. So it's like pretty wild book, and it's definitely like very fantastical as far as the Spider-Man story goes, but it's really fun. It's beautifully drawn, and I would really recommend, if you're a Spider-Man fan and a Dr. Octopus fan, you want to check out something new. It's the 2013 edition is what I read. So it's written by Dan Slott with a number of different illustrators. It's really great stuff. The illustrations are fantastic. So yeah, I would say definitely read this. It's a really, really fun Spider-Man book. I really, really have been enjoying it.
Awesome. Yeah, I am a little bit familiar with the storyline where he takes over Peter's body and becomes Spider-Man in his own right and joins the Superior Six, not the Sinister Six, but it's a little different there. So that's super interesting. But yeah, it's a good recommendation. So I'm going to start with my movie recommendation, which is I'm going through the Alfred Molina connection here, and I'm going to go with 2003's Identity. Do you know this movie?
I don't know that I do off the top of my head.
This was directed by James Mangold, who did Walk the Line and Logan. This is basically a whodunit kind of movie where a bunch of strangers are stranded in a hotel in the middle of a very intense rainstorm, and people start getting picked off one by one. It goes from there. It becomes very intense. It becomes very interesting. There's a lot there that's happening that I don't want to give away. We've got John Cusack is in it, Ray Liotta, Amanda Peet, Jake Busey, who's Gary Busey's son, is in it as well. So if you're familiar with him, you might know the level of creepiness that he brings to his roles. But Alfred Molina, who is in this movie as well, is a big part of it. So Identity, 2003, check it out.
Mike, now that you brought it up and I am Googling it, I know this movie. I love this movie. This movie is sick. I completely forgot the title, but I know exactly what you're talking about, and it is really good. I didn't realize this was a James Mangold joint. He obviously is a Superhero Cinema Club director as well. At some point we'll talk about, but yeah, this is such an awesome movie. And if you're into like good movies with like a mystery and what's going on here, yeah, this is a really good film.
And then for my comic recommendation, I'm going to go a little different. And much like X-Men Apocalypse, I'm going to recommend a video game instead. So Spider-Man, the PS4/PS5 video game from Insomniac Games, is an absolutely amazing game to play if you're a PlayStation gamer. This game basically takes Peter Parker in like year 2 or 3 of his life as he's fighting crime. It starts with him fighting Kingpin and all sorts of iconic villains, but I'm recommending this one specifically because Dr. Octopus is a huge part of this game, and what they do with him and how they introduce him into Spider-Man's life is absolutely great. They did a great job of like making you feel like you're playing Spider-Man. You're swinging through New York City and you absolutely feel like you are. It came out around the same time of like the last of the Batman Arkham games. Batman Arkham games make you feel like you're Batman. This game absolutely makes you feel like you're Spider-Man. So highly recommend the Spider-Man games for the PlayStation series. Great game.
I've played it. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
I really like Spider-Man Miles Morales as well. Spider-Man 2, I never played because it was PS5, which I don't have. And
it's great. It's the best of all. It's the best of all of them. Yeah.
Really?
So, yeah.
Okay, because I've seen it get some kind of mixed reviews, and I've heard kind of mixed things on it. But okay, that's good to know. Okay.
No, it's awesome. I love it.
All right, let's go. Yeah, it is a really fun game, and yeah, as Spider-Man fans, it's super cool to see all of these iconic villains and characters kind of remixed in interesting and novel ways.
It's made by Insomniac Games. That's the studio. They did Spyro, Ratchet and Clank, Sunset Overdrive. So if you're familiar with any of those games, absolutely check this out for sure.
And that brings us to the end of another episode of Superhero Cinema Club. We are soaring high, Mike. We just reviewed an absolute stone cold classic we're in agreement with. And now it can only get better with Spider-Man 3, right?
No.
That furtive look that Mary Jane has. I didn't actually bring this up, just really quickly as we get out of here. The last shot of the movie apparently is a direct homage to The Graduate.
Oh, interesting.
Her running away from the wedding
And looking disappointed.
and then immediately realizing, oh my God, what have I done? That sends us into just
Super
great vibes for Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, definitely read it that way of like, oh, Mary Jane, last shot of the movie. You do not look happy at all
Yeah.
from that. Yeah.
The first one, it's triumphant. He's on the American flag. He's Spider-Man. It just gives you that uplift. And like, this movie could have had that, and that they come back to her and it's like, oh man, you see it in her face, and it does not portend good things, Mike. So we'll get into Spider-Man 3, a very controversial film. I'm excited to revisit that and talk about it, and we will see you all next time on Superhero Cinema Club.
Superhero Cinema Club is hosted by Mark Schiff and me, Mike Carnes. Produced by Mark Schiff. Editing by Mike Carnes. Original music provided by Chris Carnes. Find him on Spotify. Be sure to follow us on social media. You can find us at Superhero Cinema Club, and don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a review. Join us next time as we dive into another epic adventure from the world of superhero cinema.